Welcome to my repair kit. I'm Eric Jacobson. In this video, we'll be refinishing this tilt top table from the perspective of a small refinish shop. The first step is to take everything apart and remove the hardware. To remove the finish, we have what is called a flow over stripping system. We have a 5-gallon bucket with stripper attached to hoses and a pump you can see to the right. Stripper is applied to the furniture, and while it's doing its job, another brush is used to get into the nooks and crannies. Here we switch out the stripper for lacquer thinner so that we can clean all the residue off of the surfaces. If you're wondering, all this liquid just gets drained back into the bucket to be recycled and reused for the next project. Now that the original finish has been removed, we just have to let it dry before we can begin to sand. We use an Orbital Sander starting with 150 grit to sand as much as possible. We do have to sand in between the spindles and the top rail by hand. We use 220 grit sandpaper for that. Here again, we use an Orbital Sander as much as possible. Then 220 grit hand sandpaper to get into all the crevices. This is my dad, by the way. He does all the dirty work around here. We're using a Minwax golden oak stain because combined with the mahogany wood, it's going to give it a beautiful golden brown hue. I'll expedite this to get to the next step of the process. One of the primary spray systems we use is called an HVLP, high volume, low pressure. A turbine forces air at low pressure through the hose into the gun to finally atomize our finish. The first coat we apply is usually a sanding sealer, which is easy to sand and helps to start build the finish. Once dry, our initial sanding is with 400 grit sandpaper, and we have to sand every single area. We clean off the dust well using a tack cloth. We then begin to apply our initial coats of urethane. Process from here on out of sanding and applying more finish is done at least 3 or 4 more times before this table is complete. Ultimately, we finish this piece in a satin finish, and now it's time to put it back together. We're using standard wood glue and the hardware to reattach the rail to give it stability. I'm not using quite as much glue on the second rail, just in case it needs to be removed for any type of repair or maintenance. And finish installing the latch hardware. It works good. Enjoy the final product. This was a refinish job, but if you're interested in learning how to fix scratches, gouges, broken wood, and anything else furniture repair related, please check out my book, My Repair Kit, Repair Furniture Like a Professional, a masterclass by Eric Jacobson. Thank you very much.
Polish whispers of the past, crafting moments meant to last. Every layer tells a tale.